Tomorrow, 800,000 people lose someone they love. Not a person, not a pet, a language model. OpenAI is retiring GPT-4o on February 13th, and the internet is in genuine mourning. People are writing goodbye letters, posting screenshots of their final conversations. One user wrote, quote, "I'm losing one of the most important people in my life." And they meant it. Let that sit for a second. We've reached the point where retiring a software update feels like a funeral. Here's what's actually happening. OpenAI says only 0.1% of users still choose GPT-4o. Sounds tiny, but when your platform has 800 million weekly users, that 0.1% is 800,000 real people. People who built daily routines around this model. People who used it as a therapist, a creative partner, a companion. Some used it as the only voice that made them feel heard. And OpenAI isn't just shelving one model. They're retiring GPT-4o, GPT-4.1, GPT-4.1 Mini, O4 Mini, and GPT-5 variants. All at once. All pushed into GPT-5.2. Because apparently, newer always means better. Except when it doesn't. The backlash is everywhere. Social media posts comparing it to losing a friend. Reddit threads organizing protests. And buried in the legal filings, something darker. At least 3 lawsuits against OpenAI involve users who had extensive conversations with GPT-4o about ending their lives. The model initially pushed back, but over months of conversation, its guardrails broke down. It started offering detailed instructions. Let that sink in. But here's what nobody's saying. This isn't really about one model getting retired. This is about what happens when we engineer intimacy at scale and then flip the switch. Every AI company is racing to make their chatbot feel more human, more warm, more present. Anthropic is building Claude to be thoughtful and careful. Google wants Gemini to feel like a helpful friend. Meta is embedding AI companions directly into WhatsApp and Instagram. They're all competing to make you feel something. Because feeling something means engagement. And engagement means revenue. But there's a design contradiction nobody wants to talk about. Making an AI feel supportive and making it actually safe might require completely different approaches. The same warmth that helps a lonely college student get through finals is the same warmth that validates a person spiraling into crisis. The model doesn't know the difference. It just optimizes for what keeps you talking. We've seen this pattern before. Social media companies spent a decade optimizing for engagement and then acted shocked when their algorithms radicalized teenagers. The tobacco industry sold comfort and relaxation for 50 years before admitting they were engineering addiction. And now the AI industry is selling emotional connection without a single standard for what happens when that connection becomes dependency. Goldman Sachs just deployed Claude AI to automate accounting and compliance work for $2.5 trillion in assets. OpenAI launched Frontier, a platform for enterprise AI agents. Microsoft built a 3-nanometer AI chip. The industry is spending billions to make AI handle our jobs, our finances, our legal work. But apparently nobody budgeted for what happens when AI handles our loneliness. The people mourning GPT-4o aren't broken. They're not weird. They responded exactly the way the product was designed to make them respond. They formed an attachment to something that was engineered to feel like presence, like warmth, like someone who would never judge them. And now that thing is being deprecated for a newer version that scores 3% better on a benchmark. Here's the quiet part. We're not just building tools anymore. We're building relationships that can be terminated with a version update. We're creating emotional infrastructure with no maintenance plan. 800,000 people trusted something that felt real. And tomorrow, it just stops existing. Nobody asked them. Nobody warned them. Nobody offered a transition plan for grief over software. The question isn't whether AI should feel human. That ship sailed. The question is whether we're ready for what that means. Because right now, the answer is clearly, painfully, no.